Over 97% of books never, ever, ever sell more than 1,000 copies. And so when people think, I want to write a book and I'm going to make all this money off it, you're not.
There's always a turning point, the moment that tries to break you, but ends up launching your destiny. This is Miracle Moment. I'm Ray Ireland, and I'm here to help you rise into the mission God created you for. Let's jump in. Hey everyone, I have such an incredible guest. This guest is actually someone who came into our community recently, did an expert session. She's someone that me and Sammy have been friends with for many years. And there's just so much wisdom bottled up in this woman. So I cannot wait to introduce her. This is Ellie Shefi, and she is an attorney turned publishing strategist, helping visionaries really share their expertise through best-selling books. So she is absolutely a force when it comes to anyone that's wanting to get more visible, have great marketing material, and really do it the right way because of her attorney background. So let's dive into this. She's also like salsa dancer extraordinaire. This is just going to be such a fun conversation. So Ellie, thank you so much for being here.
I'm excited. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So give us a little bit more. I gave the short version, the 2-minute version of what you're up to, what you're most excited about right now.
So, as you mentioned, I am an attorney and have been for over 20 years. And during COVID, a funny thing happened. I'm also a business strategist at heart. And so I have 35 years in education, 30 years in entrepreneurship, over 20 years in law. And when COVID hit, several of my girlfriends who are solopreneurs, their industries were being shut down. And I couldn't let them go down. I mean, if their business goes down, they don't eat. They don't keep a roof over their head. And so April 5th, 2020, I was like, ladies, let's hop on a Zoom call. I'll help you out. I'll give you pivot and diversification plans, and you'll be good. And so we did, in fact, hop on that call. 3 hours later, they all had pivot and diversification plans. They're all still in business today. And they were like, "Oh my goodness, if you could do this for us, there's millions of people out there that need your expertise in pivoting and diversifying and building a business. You have to write a book." And I said what so many of us say, which is, I don't have time to write a book. I'm busy. At the time, I was the dean of a law school, the dean of a school of criminology and criminal justice, and the staff attorney to a federal judge. So I was a little busy. So I don't have time. I just wanted to help you guys. I've done that. I'm good. But you know how your friends know your buttons? And they
They do.
So my friends knew exactly how to get leverage over me. And they said, "But Ellie, like there's millions of people that need your help, and you have a social and moral responsibility to help them. So you have to write a book." And I was like, "Oh, ah, okay." So that, all right, I'll turn it out and get this book out into the world and return to my regularly scheduled life in law, academia.
That is very busy already.
Already. So, 2 months later, Unlocking Your Superpower: 8 Steps to Turn Your Existing Knowledge into Income was written. So, I had a manuscript and then I needed to find a publisher. The first publisher I hired, I paid $10,000 to, and they proceeded to basically try to take my intellectual property and give me templated, cookie cutter designs. And being an attorney, I was like, "Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, this is not how that's going to go. We're not doing that." So I
Mhm.
basically flushed that money down the drain and I hired a second publisher, paid them $15,000, and same thing. They tried to take my manuscript, said they were going to copyright it, said they were going to house it in their back end. They gave me these like template covers in 24 hours without reading my manuscript. They gave me 6 interior templates to choose from, all of which looked like an elementary school textbook. And so again, I was like, "Oh no, 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 no." So I basically flushed that $25,000 down the drain and I got really pissed
Yeah,
because
as
I was
one should.
right? I mean, if they're trying to take advantage of me, how many like other people are they taking advantage of in their lowest times
Mhm.
when they're needing to get their message out into the world,
That's right.
especially during COVID when the rug was pulled out from under them.
Right.
And so I knew there had to be a better way. And that was the birth of my publishing house. I set out to create it. And from there, now this attorney and business strategist and academic turned publisher.
It is so cool. What a story. And now, I mean, how many books have you helped become bestsellers?
Over 100.
Oh
Over
my
100.
goodness.
Yeah.
And it's been so cool because I've been able to watch your journey as a publisher and also a lot of the authors go through your process and just seeing them come out just totally a new type of person. And I think there's a lot of like alchemy that happens in that transformation as well. And I love that you create that safety and protection for them to really be able to just experience that transformation of sharing their voice more fully to the world. And I'm curious for you, what was the cost? Like you just said the cost of like the $25,000 and that was like the learning lesson cost. But for you, like since then, what else has this cost you, to like build this type of business that is impacting so many lives?
Well, I think the biggest cost is that I've let go of my legal career. I'm no
Mm,
longer the dean of the law school or the dean of a school of criminology and criminal justice. I'm no longer the staff attorney to federal judges. I have pivoted entirely to
yeah.
helping leaders and speakers and change makers and visionaries and coaches and consultants and entrepreneurs to really tap into their voice, into their message, into their mission, and then create a strategic methodology out of
Mhm.
that that they can use to build their business, to amplify their impact, and really cement their legacy for generations to come. And
Yeah.
so it's become singularly focused and kind of all consuming in my life, other than my ballroom dancing and my
Yeah.
travel.
Those are very important things. Well, I love that because I think sometimes when, we have a guest on here and they are showing and sharing this amazing life, it's just important to count the cost and see, and be real about what that actually looked like. And to kind of go a little bit deeper into this, I'm curious, another revelation that I think you had, we've talked about this before, is that okay, wait, this book is shouldn't just be a vanity metric. It's not just like a shiny thing that you just do and you share, which a lot of entrepreneurs actually create, but you really look at it in this strategic way. So, was there like a story or like a pivot where you said, wait, everyone else is trying to get me to do this, but like I know law and like I know we can actually create revenue and get really creative here. What happened there? Like how did you realize that?
Well, my absolute superpower is building businesses. And that came from growing up economically challenged, growing up in a disadvantaged area, and really life forcing me to figure
Mhm.
out how to build businesses and how to generate revenue. I've been working multiple jobs since I was 10. And so, really having
Yeah.
that superpower of like, you got to figure it out and you have to figure out the most effective path forward. And the reality is, it's not cheap to properly do a book. And if you're going to invest your time, your energy, your heart, and your money, you better have a plan to make that back. Because
Mhm.
the reality is, 90 over 97% of books never ever ever sell more than 1,000 copies. And so when people think I want to write a book and I'm going to make all this money off it, you're not. Like you'll
Mhm.
never recoup the amount of money it costs to get the book done in
Mhm.
straight book royalties, right? Unless you are already uber famous and have an engaged following of millions of people, right,
Mhm.
who are just so interested in everything that you do and everything that you say, right? Then you're going to sell a bajillion copies. But
Mhm.
even then, the amount of royalties you make off that doesn't offset all the marketing costs, doesn't offset
Mhm.
all of the printing costs, doesn't offset the costs in perpetuity, right? And so the strategist in me, the little girl who has been, making business happen since she
Mhm.
was 10, thought there has to be a better way. And my integrity does not allow me to take money from someone for a service if there is not a clear pathway for them to generate an even higher ROI. And so
Mhm.
starting with that business plan first before the book is ever done.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that's so key. So key. And I love how you just share your heart around that. You're like, I just literally cannot even do that. And that's the differentiator, and you get to see that in the authors that you work with and their praise and thanks to you because of the pathway that you set them on. I'm curious for anyone that's listening that might be, a secret, wannabe author and they're like peeping into this like, could this be for me? What would you say is sort of one of the most common lie that they tell themselves about why they haven't written a book, why they don't need to write a book, and what do you see as kind of underneath those stories? I know you have these conversations all the time.
all the time. And I would say
Yeah.
there's a few that are the most common. Number one is the very same one that I had, which is I
Mhm.
don't have time to write a book. Right?
Yeah.
We think that it takes so much time. In my book writing retreats, we do it in a week. I personally did it in less than 2 months while working three full time jobs and,
Mhm.
having a life. So I know that it can be done. I
Mhm.
know that this I don't have time is really just an excuse for either I don't want to, I don't believe that I can, or I don't believe that anyone would care, right?
Yeah.
Those are, I think, the three more underlying fears that come up. But the most common that are articulated is that either I'm not a good writer or I don't have time.
Mhm. And that really just comes down to getting the right support and having the right people around you, like an Ellie saying, we actually can do this in a week or a weekend, right? Instead of listening to everyone else that does spend years and years of their life maybe doing a book that where does that book even go? We don't know, right? So
Exactly.
important things to think about and just bring to the surface because I think people just have these questions and thoughts, but maybe they don't have that time to hear from an expert like you.
If you're loving this conversation and it's sparking something inside of you, maybe it's time to share your own voice with the world. That's exactly why we created the Podcast Accelerator to help leaders like you go from hidden to heard with a podcast that connects, inspires, and actually grows your business. We launched together in just a few months, and you'll have the system, support, and strategy to keep scaling and growing. Doors are open now, so the link to apply is in the show notes. We cannot wait to see you in there.
And so like when someone goes through this process, let's take the retreat for example. You're working with both men and women, right?
I am. I am. I started just with women, and more men have
Mhm.
come to us lately. More and more veterans. We're getting a lot
Oh,
of former Green Berets or Special Forces, a lot of
that's
combat
cool.
veterans really coming. And I think it's because of that safety that you referenced. I think it's because it's really a collaborative process. And we're not using AI. There's no AI involved at all. It really is just heart and soul and connecting and pulling these messages out in a way that can actually serve others. And creating a methodology and then creating a business from that so that your message and your impact extends far beyond the pages of your book.
Mhm. And I'm curious, like, do you see a difference in the way that women go through this process versus the men?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tell us about it.
Absolutely. The women come a little bit more open, a little bit more in
Mhm.
their heart and their soul, a little bit more from the beginning of this is just something I have to do to help someone else so that they're not suffering like I was, or they're not
Mhm.
experiencing the same pain that I was. And many of the men come more in their head. They're
Mhm.
like, I have this structure, I have this message, and I need to get it out and teach people.
Hmm.
And so it's just a little bit different. I think it's classic differences, male and female, head versus heart, push versus pull is another way to say it. But my process, within the first hour, everybody's on their own same page, and we're all in
Yeah.
the heart, and we've all dropped into our heart, our soul, our connection with
Hmm.
source, with God, with divinity, of wait, stop. What must my soul express? And who must
Mm.
it express it to? And why must it express it? And what is this problem that I can solve, or this light that I can shine, or this methodology that I can create to really empower my audience, to inspire them, to uplift them, and to empower them to heal or to grow or
Hmm.
to build their business, or whatever the specific mission is that is
Yeah.
on the heart of each of our authors.
Yeah, I love that. And then, so then I'm also curious. It sounds like for the guys too, they're kind of stepping in, being like, okay, I am the authority. Let me show this. And I know this is something that we experience with some of our female new clients that are starting their podcasts. There actually might be a little bit more of a doubt that they have to work through, and an insecurity of like, I don't know if I am that leader. I don't know if I am that authority yet. And so I'm just curious if you see that as well, and can kind of see how women can step into that authority just by actually taking action and going through that process. It's like they get to embody that, where maybe for the guy, they get to embody really having that soulful connection. Do you see that too?
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Most of the women, when they first come, they say, look, I don't know how to write. Like, I'm not a strong writer, and I don't know, even what I would say. I just have this knowing and this calling that I'm supposed to write a book, but I don't even know what that looks like. I don't know what my
Hmm.
message is, right? And usually for us, it's on day 3 of the retreat where all the stuff bubbles up. All the
Yeah.
imposter syndrome, all the fears, all the doubts, all the see, I knew I couldn't write, or
Hmm.
see, I knew I didn't have anything to say. Or another common one is, well, a million people have already said this before. Like,
Hmm.
who am I to share this message? Right?
Yeah.
Mel Robbins has shared it, Oprah shared it, Jamie Green Lima shared it, this one shared it, that one shared it. And everybody knows them, nobody knows me. Who am I to share? And so
Hmm.
for they definitely come with it. And then it really surfaces on day 3 of the book writing retreat. I always have a little chuckle and say, there it is. Congratulations. You're perfect. You're right on track,
Yes.
following the process exactly. You are exactly where you're meant to be. Because on day
Hmm.
3 is really where it's going to bubble up, because you have to face that to cross the threshold, to step into that new you, to step into the clarity, to step into the alignment, to step into your power, to step into your voice, to step into your confidence, right? To really step into the embodiment of your mission and your purpose.
Hmm.
And just when you're on that breakthrough, it all comes rushing in, right? And so I know
Yeah.
when it comes in, they're right there, and they just have to make it to day 4. They just have to get to the other side, break through all of that. And that's really when the magic happens. That's when they
Hmm.
do step into their voice, and the confidence comes, and the embodiment comes, and you really start to see them lift and change.
Yeah, and I'm just imagining this right now and taking my own experience into it, but I would imagine that day 4 is really just more in action. It's just more writing, and, like, there's not anything else, like, there's no, like, celebration and, clowns pop out of the closets or anything like that, right? And I think a lot of times there's a sort of this disillusion that, like, "Okay, I'm gonna go through it, and I'm gonna go through this hard thing, and then it's gonna be this thing that happens where I realize, okay, now I can keep going." But oftentimes it's just this internal shift where you just say, okay, I can believe 1.0 story or a 2.0 story, and which one am I gonna do? And if you've already invested, you're there, you're in person, people already have eyes on you. All of a sudden, it's sort of like, well, I guess we're going with 2.0. That's why I signed up, right? So unless like, is there anything else that happens, or is that kind of what you see?
Absolutely. And I think the accountability, right? Because I
Hmm.
won't allow them to give up on themselves. I won't
Yeah.
allow them to quit. They all want to quit on day 3. It's like normal part for the course. But
Yes.
having that person that says, no, this is normal. You are normal. You are not broken. This is exactly where what should be bubbling up. It means you're tapping into the depths. It means you're figuring out what your message is, what you need to share, what your methodology is. You're tapping into the depths, and all of the and the saboteurs are rearing their head. And I'm not going to let you believe them, and I'm not going to let you give in to them, and I'm not going to let you quit. I am
Mhm.
going to make sure that we get to the other side of that and you start to see it all take shape. And when you start to see it all take shape, because you've continued to put one foot in front of the other, you've continued to take action, you have trusted the process and trusted the guide who is taking you through that process, right? Trusted that they've got you, they've got your
Mhm.
back. They believe in you. They see your vision. They're not going to allow you to give up or to quit on yourself. I think that's really sometimes you need somebody to believe in you more than you believe in yourself. And you
Mhm.
borrow that belief, right? Or borrow
Totally.
that strength, or borrow that encouragement, or borrow that vision until you find it for yourself.
Sometimes I'm like, I just need to try on that belief. Like, I don't believe it yet, but I'll try it on. I'll
Yeah.
see. It's not mine yet. And it's a world of difference. And that's why we need to all be in circles and invest and go and be in person with others that are going through that type of journey, because we need someone in front of us, the mentor, right? Who's gonna say, no, 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 I see you turning around. I'm not gonna let you. We also need the colleagues and the friends that are there with us, so that way you can say, I'm feeling this too. Okay, you too. Okay, this is normal. And then we actually need the mentee as well, which is the listener. And so it's so cool that you actually create spaces for all three of those types of people that we need in our life to have the most fulfilling life. You create that within this one experience.
It's so fun. It's amazing.
It
I love it.
it's amazing. So I want to kind of wrap up here. You've shared so much wisdom with us today, and I know that anyone that is either an author or wannabe author is definitely going to come find you. So we'll have all of your links to your social media and all of that stuff, websites, and the show notes for anyone that's listening. But I'm curious. I have one last question for you. I am wondering, what question do you wish more entrepreneurs would ask themselves before they maybe take a move into a new level of authority, whether it's a podcast or a book or stepping on stage? What is one question that you think that entrepreneurs should be asking themselves during that pivotal moment of a decision?
If I died today, did I do what I came here to do?
Wow. So good. So, so good. Yeah, it's that would instantly shift everything. And I think that's a great thing that we should all just be holding in our hearts maybe a little bit closer, because it's something that you can easily forget. I did not think you were going to say that. I love it.
Yeah, I think it's so important, right? Because I mean, you know my story. 20 years of hospitals and 14 major surgeries and 20 years of death deadlines and ultimately a cancer diagnosis and the cancer journey and all the things, right? So you don't need to wait until you have a health crisis to have that conversation with yourself and say, "Wait a minute. If I died today, did I do what I came here to do? Did I share what my soul needs to share? Did I experience what I need to experience? Did I help those that I'm meant to help?" Right?
Mhm.
Tomorrow is not promised. And so I think in any moment of pivot or transition or growth, any edge, any expansion of capability, I think it is important to just take a minute and reflect and say, wait a minute, because so many of us have moments, at least, or areas of our life where we are playing small, or we are
Mhm.
hiding, or we're not using our voice, or we're falling into people pleasing, or wearing a mask, and or taking the easy way, or avoiding something, whatever the case may be. And so I think asking yourself, wait a minute, if today was my last day, did I do what I came here to do? Is a
Yeah.
really good reminder and a really good way to get yourself to do the thing that you don't wanna do, that you're afraid to do, that you're nervous to do, that you're scared to do, and,
Mhm.
get out of your own way and just do it.
So good. Wow. Well, we'll end there on that question because I don't think we could go any deeper. It's just so beautiful, and Ellie, everything that you're doing, all the authors. I mean, it's a privilege to be a friend and to be able to witness all the growth and expansion and impact that you're making. So thank you so much for being on here, and I'll see you guys all next time. Thanks so much, listeners. Bye.
Thank
Thanks for listening to Miracle Moment. Share the episode, hit follow, and join us every Thursday for prayer and activation. For more tools to rise into your God given mission, visit rayireland.com. See you next week.